Welcome to Slayerfest 98. I'm your host, Ian Carlos Crawford, and joining me for this episode, we will be discussing Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. I have my two boyfriends. First up is my podcast husband. He hosts Power of X-Men.
Dayspring!
Hi, my love.
I'm so happy to be here. I love you. I love you both so much.
I love you too, my sweet angel. And next up we have my cosplayer boyfriend who, is here.
I'm also here, and my name is Michael Ham.
I was trying to think of a second thing.
You're like, how can I make him feel like he's part of this? I like to think that I'm like your guys' son, but like adopted, so it's kind of still sexy, and I'm like young, but
There's like a gay porn website dedicated about that. It's called like Family Dick. You just
I was about to say, I think I've seen that porn, Michael.
It's just Family Dick. Who can sponsor us at Power of X-Men?
Yes.
We'll totally do it.
oh my god, it's just whenever you two argue about something, I'm like, oh my god, my dads are fighting.
When do we argue?
I'm sure we have.
Literally, spoiler for the rest of this episode when my two dads start yelling at me. Oh my god, this is a porno. Oh no, turn it off.
Stop it. Why are you showing him Family Dick with Lance?
Hammy is just leaning into it.
Oh my god, this is an explicit episode already. Put the E tag on there.
I was very happy the other day when someone mentioned your podcast, Dayspring, in my Slayerfest 98's Discord server. Someone like quoted you because you like did that research to find out there wasn't actually someone at the Hollywood Reporter for that like Jean Grey rumor.
First of all, the casting was great, and I was excited by it, and everyone's reporting on it, but I was like, okay, let me go to the original source, which was this blog post for someone named Randy Paul. I'm forgetting what the alleged reporter's name was. Does not exist anywhere on the internet. Someone literally woke up, went on Instagram, and made up a story, and then everyone's reporting on it, getting angry, and of course, because the casting they had for Jean is a woman of color, then there were all of these like hateful comments everywhere, and it was for nothing. Like, it's just an empty story. Like, it's made up, and it just infuriated me. But
I don't know why. Like, I know that's common, but I just don't know why people do that shit. Like, it feels like because eventually people are gonna know you're lying. So, like,
yeah, but you get that 15 minutes of fame, right?
Yeah.
Well, why don't people just Google it? Like, I would never post something and not be like, okay, let me check the original source, really quickly to see what they said. And by the way, I thought Simone Ashley, I believe that's her name, great casting for Jean. I would happily love her, but it's just
also like I just feel like it's very obvious they're not casting X-Men yet. You know what I mean? Like anytime one of those pops up, it's like very obviously not true because they're just not casting them yet. Like
I don't know. 6 months ago, Colton Haynes posted a picture of Iceman, and I think that's who they've casted for sure.
As we will discuss with that, the MCU is doomed.
Well, actually, Dayspring, I am very proud of you because I remember the one time when you posted something, you were like, is this real? And I was like, it is not. Look at the handle. And you're like, oh, great, got it. I don't remember what it was, but I fucking blocked that Disgubbing Film account because that would happen like every day. Someone would be tagging Slayerfest on Twitter to be like, look, did you see this? And it's like, no, that's not a real account. Like I had to block that account because it was just like their engagement is bananas. Like it'll get like 200,000 likes on like a made up fake rumor.
Oh boy.
And I think we just have a responsibility, once you start having a community and you're kind of reporting on things, just to do like the basic 101 research. I mean, I worked at Out, The Advocate, other places when I graduated. This is journalism 101. You know what I mean? So if you're going to open up your doors and have a community, I think you have a responsibility for the truth. So
sometimes even if it's like, it seems legit, but I'm just not sure. I won't repost it till I'm like sure.
Yeah, until I see a credible source.
Right. Yeah. Because it's always like MCU, fan zone 1058 is like reporting some shit, and it's like, okay, but where did this come from? Like,
or when Hammy is saying Colton Haynes is going to play Iceman, then I know.
It's real. It's happening. Right. Wait. But before we get into like Guardians, because I know that's literally what we're supposed to be here for, I have more questions about reporting. But is it like okay to be like, so-and-so has reported that blah, 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 so that you don't get in trouble for reporting something?
Yeah. I think you should always credit the source. And that's what I was doing with the Randy Paul thing with the Simona Ashley casting of Jean Grey. I saw it everywhere else. I was like, okay, let me just see the original source. Like, where did he get this information? Was it just like a leak or something that he was given? But no, yeah, if I wanted to, I could have said Instagram account, blah, 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 is reported. But then you're doing it for the entire internet, you know?
Jean Grey Stan _ Dayspring has reported the casting for Jean Grey.
Official announcement. It's always like a dumb post where it's like, this person's joining the MCU, and it's just like a random, like, do you guys remember? I think it was like right after it was like official that the X-Men were going to be, and everyone was like, oh, Shia LaBeouf is going to be Iceman. And then there was people like outrage. And I was like, there's no way they've cast someone already. Like, they just haven't. They just got the rights to this.
Well,
and like, it was just like exhausting. So it was like people on both sides being like, oh my God, he's going to be in it. And people being like, oh, he's a terrible actor. Why would they cast? And it's like, this is obviously fake. Like, and it was.
And it was. And here's the thing. They're going to be doing the Fox X-Men in the MCU with Secret Wars and Deadpool 3. So I wager they're trying to lock in as many Fox X-Men as they can for a goodbye. And then after Secret Wars, however the MCU looks afterwards, they'll bring in their own new MCU X-Men. So it's not going to happen anytime soon.
Right. Like it's a long ways away, I think. Yeah. But yeah, so we're here to talk Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special, which I just watched like 20 minutes ago. I just finished. I sent to our group DM that I was misty-eyed the whole time. But I was trying to think of, because Hammy, I know it wasn't your favorite. I know. The thing I will give you is it is corny, but I don't care. Like, I fully, if you're like, it was corny, I will give you that because it is corny, but like Christmas specials are, I don't know. But I loved it. It's weird. Like, I am not religious at all. Like, there's not a part of me that's like, ooh, God and Jesus, but like Christmas makes me like, Christmas and the Muppets are like two things that like, I don't know why, but just make me nostalgic for like being a kid. Like it makes me emotional. It makes me remember when I was happy. And like, you know, like being like a fun, like little kid having fun with his like action figures and like Christmas music playing or like whatever. Like that Star Wars used to feel that way for me, but now that there's like 1,000 other things, I don't feel nostalgic for it. So that's why something that I can be like, yes, this is corny, but also I loved it. That's why I could still like love this, but Hammy, give us what did you feel about it? And it's okay. Be honest.
Okay. All right. No. I think I agree. Like Christmas and Halloween are my all times for very different reasons. Like Christmas is just like one of the most important times to me. So I get it. All of my favorite Christmas movies are fucking cheesy. They're over the top. And I thought that this brought a lot of that to it. But I feel like my criticism was like it almost brought too much. Like it, rather than being an homage to a bunch of Christmas movies, it just felt like, because it wasn't that long, so it just felt like it just felt lazy. That was my feeling about it. I was like, I've seen everything that this is doing. I've seen in other Christmas movies, and every other Christmas movie has done it better.
All right, you've just name a Christmas movie where they kidnap Kevin Bacon.
There are so many. No. Listen, I feel like there are so many Christmas movies
now.
My husband and my son. I better leave. I hope you don't get up to anything. Oh my God.
Sorry.
But like, okay, think about like Nightmare Before Christmas is all about them kidnapping Santa Claus. Like, kidnapping is not like an odd thing, like an odd theme for a Christmas movie, or like we're going to get our son from university and he hates Christmas, but we're going to take him home and drive him on this long road trip that he hates being a part of. And so like the whole movie was just like a Christmas cliche, which typically is good, I think. But I'm just watching it and I'm like, okay, well, you didn't come up with that idea. 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 And then I'm like, okay, well, I guess the movie's over. Even the rotoscoping at the beginning, I'm like, okay, that's, a hint to this, and that's a nod to this. And I think one of the problems with the MCU right now is it's all just Easter eggs. Like when I was on YouTube, it was like the 87 Easter eggs from Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday. And I was like, why the fuck are there 87 Easter eggs in a 30-minute TV show? Yeah. And it's just, here's a quip, here's a joke, 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 it's over. And I was like, oh, I'm watching fucking Thor Love and Thunder again.
God, we don't have to rewatch that. No.
That I will not tolerate. That is rude. Do not call this Thor Love and Thunder. Dayspring, though, I want to know what you thought, because I feel like we felt the same about this.
Yeah, so listen, peak for me, Mantis and Drax at a gay club in West Hollywood.
Yes! I love that.
Fucking on. Like, that was amazing. Listen, here's the thing with Hammy, I don't disagree with you. I think the MCU is having a huge problem right now. I think Wakanda Forever was a great movie as much as I loved it, and I'm hoping that's more of a return to form. But we've just had a slew of really mediocre MCU content. And this isn't bad. It's just not great. And I think when you watch it, it's fun if you really love the characters in a really particular way. I love the Guardians movies are my favorite. I love Guardians 2 is probably my top 5 MCU.
No.
Dayspring? Oh my God. Wait. Because I get dragged regularly on my own podcast because I love Guardians 2 so much.
It's my favorite, that opening with Baby Groot, and it's all
oh my God, I'm on the wrong podcast.
We're just renewing our vows is all.
Right, boy, look at your daddies renewing their vows.
Oh my God.
I think here's the thing, Guardians 2 is all about this dysfunctional family coming together and finding strength in everyone's differences and coping with the trauma we inflict on each other and still choosing to be family. I love that so much.
I think the thing with that I will say, and we all three of us love Buffy and love X-Men here, is that Guardians is the only team in the MCU right now that actually feels like found family. They try to push that with Avengers, but they're mostly coworkers who save the world together, and they like each other for the most part. But I think Guardians is the only one that actually drives home the found family or chosen family aspect that we're supposed to be getting from all of them. And they do feel like a dysfunctional family, and that's why I love them so much.
I agree. Guardians, the first Guardians movie is probably in my top it's probably my top 5 and even closer to number 1 if you don't include the big ones Endgame or you know, the ensemble pieces. I think as a standalone film, Guardians is my favorite Marvel property potentially. Guardians 2 I was not a fan of because I feel like James Gunn just gets off the fucking rails sometimes, and he's like, isn't this so funny?
Yeah, he has that Ryan Murphy syndrome where they just run with their tone and their jokes a certain way, and it just becomes oversaturated. I'm not going to disagree with that.
But I agree with the found family thing too. That's why I loved Guardians 1, seeing them all come together and being we all hate each other and going to actually, you know what? We kind of fuck. This is cool. This is good. Honestly, I don't remember 2 enough to criticize it, if I'm being honest, because I saw it one time. But Guardians of the Galaxy 1 is the only DVD of any Marvel movie that I own, because it was my all-time favorite movie.
Oh, shut the fuck up. Look at that. I love that. We need to watch Guardians 2. We had to watch it with Hammy.
Yes.
And
my God,
make him a believer. So my first one would be Winter Soldier. Number 2 would probably be Guardians Volume 2. Those are my...
With Winter Soldier, I was saying this the other day because one of my old managers at work is he's been doing a very slow burn MCU rewatch, and he's just gotten to Winter Soldier. Then he does only 2 or 3 a month. And he's just literally, he doesn't have a pocket. He's just doing it because he likes the MCU stuff. But he'll we have a group chat and he'll be update, watch this, still think this. And he he was update, Winter Soldier is still one of the best MCU movies. And I was saying that I do agree that it's one of the best, but I don't know that it's my favorite, only because I'm not a big fan of when it's all human. I'm give me an actual superpowered superhero, not just people who can punch a lot. So for me, that's more of a really good political army type thriller. But it's not if that makes sense. I still think it is probably the best MCU movie, but it's just not my favorite because I prefer Scarlet Witch shooting powers out of her hands, or
I
like
mean,
Captain
listen,
Marvel
you know how much I
flying.
love Wanda, but I
Right.
cannot, in good faith, ever call Multiverse of Madness a good
Oh,
movie.
no. Speaking of what Dayspring gets people to do, Hammy, that I think we did our live reaction at like midnight the night it came out. Right?
Oh my god! I'm not surprised.
He
Not
just like
surprised.
DM'd me and he was like, "Do you want to do this tonight?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And I got out of the movie, came home, and we recorded a live reaction.
Dayspring can get anything he wants. He is the Wanda. He is the sort of manipulator of reality.
My God, drag me to filth there. Thank you.
I need that power.
That'll make you Wiccan then. If I'm Wanda, and then Ian is Vision, and that makes you Wiccan or Speed. There we go.
Perfect. I'll whichever. I'm Wiccan on Speed.
That's his.
So, getting back to this, the thing I thought this did really well is we got to know Mantis more.
Agree.
I thought they did a good job of kind of, because I love too, but I did like some like friends had legit critiques of Mantis's portrayal of like, oh, the only Asian woman who's a superhero is kind of like the like housekeeper or maid to Ego, when she's just kind of like his like house person, right? Like she didn't get to do that much in that movie other than that.
Yeah.
And so like I fully understand those critiques and like, you know, but I thought this did a good job of like making her more of a character. And like, you know, seeing her yell at Drax, like she wasn't just smiling all the time and giggling. She was like, "No, dude, you're messing it up." Like her yelling at him and like learning that she was worried to tell Peter that they are, you know, step siblings. That didn't feel like that felt like depth that we hadn't gotten before for her.
Yeah, I loved her in Volume 2. I've loved her in Infinity War. I love the character very much, and I think she brings so much heart and this, you know, so much innocence to it. Like it's just so wonderful. I'm curious if here's the thing, like them being step siblings was something everyone was speculating from that scene with Ego back in Volume 2, where we see, you know, a Mantis looking individual with him in the background. Like, oh, they may be step siblings. I wonder if that was a genuine Easter egg or if the MCU is just listening to Twitter and speculations and trying to confirm things to appease fans. Because we're seeing that a lot, where the MCU is listening to social media and sort of leaning into things. That would be the only like question mark I have on it. But I love that it is confirmed. It's in canon, and I like that she has agency over her story, and she's just not like a prop, you know, like a theatrical prop there for the audience.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, they like. I just always appreciate, and like, I don't know, we're all queers here. I feel like queer folks are always attracted to the more like side characters that aren't getting their like time to shine, and so I always like seeing like a side character get like their own kind of story. So I liked that this was her story, and especially she's, you know, if it was Gamora, I'd feel like, well, we've gotten a lot of this character, but like she's not someone we have gotten that much of. Yeah, I don't know, Hammy, what'd you feel about Mantis in this?
Mantis was I was pleasant. Mantis is what saved this for me. I think in the end, because I think Palm is an incredible actress, and every time she's on screen, she is doing something hilarious, whether or not she's the focus of it. So I really think like she as the actress sold it for me. Drax, I will get into that later, but I loved the idea of this being solely based on her, and I loved the idea that like we're doing it now. Like Mantis is Star-Lord's sister, and we're learning that now, so we don't have to deal with it later in Guardians 3 kind of thing, right? Like let's get some of that out of the way now and let her have her shining moment, because I doubt they'll do a lot with her in Guardians 3, which is tragic.
It's so funny. You took the words right out of my mouth there. I think that's how I will sum up. I'm glad they got this subplot out of the way, and it's here. And if anyone's curious about it, when they see Volume 3, they can just come see
watch a Christmas special in the middle of June.
But so Palm was in a movie with Aubrey Plaza and Elizabeth Olsen called Ingrid Goes West.
Yes.
And she wasn't the main in there, but she was like secondary. But the second she came on screen, I mean, she's so captivating, and I want to see her integrate it more. I would love to see her reunite with Elizabeth Olsen, and obviously we know Aubrey Plaza's coming to at the Agatha show. So I agree. The thing that I like about Palm is that she can play in the sandbox with the other kids very well, and she's fun to see how people would react to her as a character.
Ingrid Goes West. I saw a screening in New York where the director or the writer came out after to do like a discussion. And like, I wanted to leave because that movie made me so anxious just because like I kept like cringing and like,
Yeah.
it's great. And they're both everyone's so good in that movie. But like, it was one of those movies that like, I just was like, so like, oh, like my shoulders were so tense. I was like, I need a drink.
Okay, that it may also be one of my favorite movies ever. I can I don't know if I would call it one of my favorite movies, but for me, that movie has a lot of rewatchability. Like I can just put it on in the background and just keep watching it and never get bored by it because of the performances in it.
So for me, it's like, have either of you ever seen Requiem for a Dream?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so like that movie is unpleasant, right? Doesn't mean it's bad. It's just not not fun. And that's how I felt about Ingrid Goes West. It was like, I don't need to see this movie again. That stressed me out so fucking much. Like I felt like those are movies I consider like the way some people feel about like horror movies is how I feel about like Ingrid Goes West and Requiem for a Dream. Because when she's just also like I always feel like when there's a character that's like just completely unhinged, there's like a part of me that I'm like, this could be me. Like in some universe, I could have this breakdown and become this person.
Oh, yeah. Ian Goes West or Ian Goes East. That's going to be the name of the sequel.
I relate to it too much on both ends because I'm like, oh, there are like weird internet people who are trying to become my best friends and like learn so much about my life unbeknownst to me through secret underground methods. But then also like the one time
secret underground methods, Jesus Christ.
No, there are like people online who will like figure out who I'm friends with and then figure out who their friends are and then message them and then become friends with like their friends, which are actually my friends, then become with my friends and then try to become friends with me through them. God. And it's a fucking nightmare.
Are you saying Ingrid Goes West is actually based? Oh my God, you're Elizabeth Olsen. You are the Wanda in the situation for Ingrid Goes West.
And we are the Aubrey Plaza.
No.
Plazas.
Yeah, if you guys have friends who are asking you about like me, or be careful.
Oh, no, we are the ones trying to ask people about you.
That makes a lot more sense. That's
how we got here, Hammy.
Oh my God, no. No, see, okay, but deadass. One time I was at a con and Zachary Quinto was there, who low-key is like a twat now. But anyway, he was there, and I was like, oh my God, okay, what? Like, I'm gonna get a photo op with him. I have 5 seconds. What's the one sentence I can say to him that he'll like remember forever and be like, that was a really cool guy. Like, I should figure out who that was. So like, I'm also the Ingrid. Whenever I meet like a beautiful celebrity, I'm like, no, I can do this. I can win them over. I've got this.
Wait, what did you tell him though? Were you like, Sylar is like the best like villain ever?
I said fucking nothing, and I hugged him. And I don't think I was allowed to touch him. And he has the worst. I have a picture of it. I'll send it to you guys. It is the worst picture I've ever taken with a human being in my entire life. He looks like he wants to die.
But bitch, who is speechless and starstruck in front of Zachary Quinto, though? Like, what is wrong with you?
Okay, wait. Okay. But no, he is really hot. And like, the one time I went to we are not talking about the thing we're supposed to be talking about. The one time I went to San Diego Comic-Con was like, I think Heroes season 2 had maybe aired. So it was like peak of like everyone loved Heroes. And me and my 2 friends were just like leaving the con and looking for a restaurant we could walk to. And as we're walking by Urban Outfitters, I'm on the phone with my other friend. And as I'm talking to her, I was like, wait, I have to go. I think Zachary Quinto's standing next to me. And I was standing outside Urban Outfitters smoking a cigarette. And I was like, hi. Are you? And he went, yeah, I'm Zachary Quinto. What's your name? And I was like, I'm Ian. Can we get a picture? And like, I was so mad because my straight best friend is the one with like, who has like Zachary Quinto's arm around him in the picture. And I'm next to my straight best friend. And I'm like, that is rude and homophobic.
Photoshop. It's Photoshop. I don't believe you.
First of all, send all these photos to me. And secondly, Ian, it's so funny in that area. I saw him by the Jonathan Adler store like maybe like 7 years ago, and my friend was like, "Oh my god, that's Zachary Quinto," and I was like, "What? Who?" Like it took me a second there to remember him because it had been a minute. And then
Right,
I
yeah.
also saw him at the Ritz in Hell's Kitchen.
Oh.
But I was too fucking
Oh.
drugs and alcohol to like know it was him.
Oh my god. Ian, you can edit this into 2 separate podcasts. You can have the Guardians podcast, and then you can have the like random Kiki side note podcast.
About Zachary Quinto.
Right. And every
So,
other. Anyway.
Hammy, give
Yes.
us your. You said you had something to say about Drax because I think I might agree with you.
So my opinion on Drax is just like the bit is over. The like I don't get how Earth stuff works, and I take everything literal was a. I'm just kind of done with it, and like when he laughs at things that like shouldn't be laughed at, like it's just a kind of cliche. He's like, "I wish there was more death on this planet," and I'm like, "Wait, we get it. It's not funny anymore. It's bad now."
So I will say Drax
here
is
we
my
go.
least. No. I agree with you.
Woo!
Drax is my least. I love the Guardians of the Galaxy so much, but Drax is my least favorite. I don't think I ever found it. Like even before it, because you're right. Like okay, we get it. This is the shtick, and then they overplayed it. But even before it was overplayed, that feels like jokes. I'm gonna be a fucking snob for a second. I try very hard not to be a shitty snob on the podcast. I'm gonna channel 20-year-old Ian, but like it feels like fucking jokes that like people who like think like saying like, oh, that's emo is funny. And like, it's like, but what is this? This isn't even what's the joke here? Like, it feels like humor. Like my parents both really like Drax. Like they think he's funny, which they're 76. They're allowed to think whoever the fuck they want is funny, but like that feels like more that audience and not like, just not for me.
Well, I like what you said there because I've had that problem before when I'm trying to discuss my feelings on certain things. And it's like, it has nothing to do with the character being literal and making making a joke, but you're going to dissect the narrative here, like the words that actually make up the joke, the approach to it. It's just not good. You know what I mean? It's and for me to even agree with you, Hammy, and piggyback on what we were saying, there was this, where was the scene where they're trying to get into Kevin Bacon's house and he throws Mantis over, but then he hops over himself. I'm like, why didn't you just carry her over?
Right.
You know what I mean? Why didn't you just grab her and like jump over?
Mantis also hops like 12 feet in the air when they're running away from the police. Yes! And I'm like, what is happening?
Right. Well, that's the other thing. It's lazy writing because the powers, right? That's such a like trope in comics. Like the powers only work a certain way when the scene demands it, right? Their power limitations only when you need it.
We are first a Buffy podcast, so I will say I can't really go too hard on inconsistent powers because I love Buffy to death, but her powers, that first season, she is jumping over like walls. She is like doing
she jumped over the gate. She did what Mantis couldn't. Like I still remember Buffy jumping like that.
Oh my god, yes.
And they had like no budget, so it's just like her feet hitting the ground.
God, but I do love season 1 Buffy a lot.
But like, you know what I mean? Like, especially season 1, her powers are like all over the place. And like sometimes a human can beat her up, but sometimes a human is like very easy for her to like push over and knock out. So I feel like genre can be inconsistent. I also was wondering, do you know Dayspring? Was this like, did they do this while doing Guardians 3 or like while they did? Okay.
It was was it during Guardians 3 or during Guardians 2?
This was filmed during Guardians 3, which just wrapped filming not too long ago.
Okay.
But that's why it has a really nice, like, cinematographic, I don't know the terminology, why it looks like a movie. Because I do think that was good. I mean, there's some things with the Disney Plus shows that they look kind of cheap. This did not look cheap. This, to me, looked really good.
I have to butt in here. Because this was actually one of my complaints was like, the whole time I was watching it, I just kept going, oh, they did that to cut costs. Oh, they did that to cut costs. Oh, they did that to cut costs.
Well, I'm sure they didn't do. Yeah, I'm sure like post edits and stuff like that. Yeah.
We're going to put Groot in a sweater, or not Groot. We're going to put Drax in a sweater so that we don't have to do his makeup applications on his chest. We're going to make Groot swole because we can just put a dude in a costume rather than having to pay to CGI it. Cosmo's going to have a voice caller. Like, the whole time I was watching, I was like, you paid Palm probably the least out of every other actor, so you were like, let's give her this episode. Every time I watched it, I was like, James Gunn hired like a band who were his friends, like to do like the intro. I was just like, y'all didn't want to spend $1 on this.
I have been listening to the intro song by Old 97 on repeat, bitch. I loved it. I've been going ho 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 ho, and I can't sing, or I don't have any key.
I do love the song. I do love the song.
It was so much fun. I loved it so much.
Hammy just hates fun. That's all.
I hate fun. I do hate fun. I did love the song. I just like, for a show that I started it, it's 44 minutes. I was like, okay, that's shorter than I thought, but I'm into it. Then, of course, Marvel, 9 minutes of credits. You've got like a 35-minute show. Then 5 minutes of it is a song. And then 4 minutes of it is like a chase scene. And then 3 minutes, like, I was like, this episode's 20 minutes long. Well, there's nothing. And then they cram everything into 20 minutes.
But, okay, so I think this is a lot of setup for Guardians 3, because we have, obviously, Groot, who evolved to, like, Geodude. You know, and then we have a really big plot point was dropped here, which is the Guardians are now in possession of Nowhere. And not only that, they bought it from the Collector. So I thought the Collector died during Infinity War. I thought Thanos had killed him to get the Reality Stone. So now we know Benicio del Toro survived, and I'm really excited about that.
My cousin, have I told you all that I'm related to him?
No, were you really?
What?
Can you get him on the podcast?
The wildest thing is that, so my mom's maiden name is Del Toro, and like my mom, the moment he became famous, my mom was like, I bet we're related to him. We have to be related to him. She found out he is from the town over in Puerto Rico that she is from, and she was like, we're related to him. There's no way we're not. And I was like, Mom, he just has the same last name. Like, there's no way we're related to this celebrity. Well, this year, my mom finally joined Facebook and connected with all her Puerto Rican relatives, and he was in a family photo that she showed me.
I was my God.
Oh, you were right. She's like, I told you. And like, I guess in Puerto Rico, it is a smaller island. I guess that would track that if it's like you're that close in proximity to each other and you have the same last name and it's a very small island, I guess that would track that like you're going to be related, right?
No, that makes sense.
No. Okay, so your cousin is really hot in excess baggage with Alicia Silverstone. Wow.
I mean, I don't even remember that.
Okay, do yourself a favor, just hit pause and go watch that, and that's going to be our next episode. But I guess I'm attracted to the entire like family then. You know how adorable I think you are, and now apparently your cousin or your brother or whatever.
Oh my God.
Or your brother. He could be your brother.
Or your brother.
Like, I don't care. FamilyDick.com. Like,
oh my God.
See what you did, Hammy. See what you did.
I know. I'm so sorry. Can I do one more complaint before I start saying nice things about this?
Yes, go ahead, Noah.
Thanks. I think there were too many plot points dropped for such a short. What is essentially one episode. They were like, yeah, we bought Nowhere. Yeah, Cosmo is a dog that talks. Yeah, Mantis is the sister. Like, it just felt like there was all these huge plot points that they were like, yeah, we can do this in 20 minutes. We don't need to really tell a story. And I read that James Gunn was saying he came up with this idea and then wrote it in 3 days, which it feels like it was written in 3 days.
That's
in
fair.
A way to me.
Yeah. I think Kevin Feige said something to the effect of exactly that, Hammy. He was here like, we said maybe we can do like a holiday special, and 3 days later, James Gunn came with like the script. So,
but now everything will be positive, so it's fine.
I will say I live at home. I watched this over dinner with my parents, actually, because I was like, well, they were making dinner and I had made myself dinner. And I was like, I have to go upstairs and watch the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special. And they both looked at me and I was like, I bet you both don't know. There's a Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special, because my parents actually do really like the MCU movies. And Guardians is my dad's like favorite. Because my dad, like Alien and Star Trek and Star Wars are like my dad's favorites. So like that tracks. So my dad was like, can we put it on now? And I was like, yeah, it's probably. And then I figured, I was like, I think it's only 45 minutes, but that's probably 10 minutes of credit. So it's probably only a half hour. And then that was true. Mm-hmm. But like my mom kept, Dayspring, a Hispanic mother. It was just like question after question after question after question the entire fucking time. So I was like, oh, I guess they just own Nowhere. I didn't know. I don't know when there was dialogue to say that they bought it, but I did miss that dialogue.
So is that going to be setting up? Here's a question I want to pose. Is it going to be setting up what's going on at the end of Eternals, right? Because we did get a Kingu reference here. We have Nowhere, which is a dead celestial head. Are we going to get...
Wait, what was the reference to him? There was a reference to him in this?
There's a banner of his movies when they're jumping through LA.
There's a couple, yeah. When they're in the Hollywood theater, too, there's a poster for one of his movies there, too.
And wasn't there another, was it Multiverse of Man? One of the movies had a reference, or one of the shows, right? Was it Miss Marvel? It might have been Miss Marvel.
I think
like one of the shows or one of the movies this year also referenced Kingo.
I want to say it was She-Hulk, but I could be wrong. I don't remember. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. I just don't remember where.
Right. But so I like that we moved a little bit of those pieces without it being like a big thing. I couldn't remember where we left because we've seen Cosmo in both movies, right? Hasn't there been like a cameo from Cosmo in both?
Yeah, he had a cameo in one, but he was like in the background. Like it was really innocuous.
Because I really did. I mean, of course, I like a little dog that is telepathic and whatever. Like I like Cosmo in the comics. So I was excited for the addition of Cosmo here. And I felt like they did it in a like organic way. I was just like, yeah, he's there. It's fine. We don't need to like pause and explain it. The Nowhere thing, I was like, oh, cool. I guess, do they live there now? Oh, they seem to own it. All right, great. But I will say Deep Space Nine is my favorite Star Trek. So like, I like this is where we live in space and everyone else can come visit us in space here, but also we can do other things in space. Like I like having like a big home base.
Yeah, I agree.
Because then it could be like Xavier's Mansion, you know, or fucking whether it be hit or miss or not, but like Krakoa, where it's like, oh good, we can just have a bunch of people living there that are like space people and they can come in and out of shit.
Well, so like I'm having a malfunction. So Cosmo here though, that was a woman's voice, right?
I think so, yeah.
I think Cosmo now is a girl, and I didn't catch on until now because I was looking at the Wikipedia page. But okay, so that was my other big thing that where I didn't think it was that good. I love the idea that they're occupying Nowhere, and it could be a hub, exactly what you said, Ian, about like Krakoa and whoever wants to show up can show up there. Why didn't they do any Easter eggs like with the Shi'ar or the Skrulls or stuff like, especially since we had a Captain Marvel Easter egg here? Yeah. You know, I thought it was some missed opportunities.
Hammy, counterpoint, since I know you did not love all the Easter eggs.
Yeah, no, I think we had enough Easter eggs. No, you know what the craziest thing about this is like, so I would say that I liked it. Like, I'm probably skipping ahead a little bit, but like at the end of this, if we were to give it a letter rating, it would be a decent letter rating, but I just like didn't feel fulfilled by it. So I went on YouTube and I was like looking up every review video, every Easter egg video, and they were all good. I got to the point where I was Googling Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special is bad, and still nothing bad was coming up. And I was like, okay, I've made a fatal flaw. There is something wrong with the way that I've been viewing this. But there were just so many Easter egg videos that were like literally like 100 Easter eggs you missed. And I was like, shit. I literally did miss all 100 of these. There is too many Easter eggs.
Okay.
2 Easter eggs per minute is a bit much.
Okay, but those are just clickbaits. Like, those are just people hyper-analyzing every single little thing. I mean, it meant more terms like Easter eggs on, like, the MCU and, like, the world building they've established. You know what I mean?
Like when they had the little clip of Mephisto.
Oh, my God. Don't even.
Yeah, like, especially Mephisto, you're right. Yes.
I loved that part.
Okay, so I do get...
Hammy, stop it! You're Ingrid energy right now. I can't.
I'm so sorry.
So like, and I mean, you know, Dayspring does this too. Like sometimes you say Easter egg, but like I feel like Easter egg has a different meaning now, right? It kind of just means like any kind of like reference or nod. It doesn't have to be like. It doesn't have to be what like the same way a lot of terms online don't really mean what they originally meant to me. I mean, I just learned on Twitter today that Mary Sue was a term coined by women as a joke, and then people took it and ran with it. Like it was like coined by Star Trek writers, apparently. But anyway, but like I do feel like Easter egg kind of has a different meaning now. And so like, it could just be like, oh, this could be a nod to that, but it doesn't mean that that's what it was.
Right.
And like,
And yeah, Easter egg
and
videos will be like, here's an Easter egg. Cosmo is Russian. And you're like, yeah, that's not an Easter egg.
Well, so they were like, so before I went into watching it, because I watched it a few days after Pub, everyone was like, oh, there's an X-Men Easter egg. You know, you got to watch to see it. And I was like, okay, I'm ready for this. Like, fuck yeah, the Shi'ar in here. In the opening credits, you can see Kitty from the Uncanny X-Men cover for the holiday special or the holiday issue, and also the David Nakayama cover of Jean and Rogue sipping coffee. That's it. That's not an Easter egg. That's just art in the intro. You know, an Easter egg would be having John Cena and Margot Robbie, you know, in that little map, and there's a suicide. That is an Easter egg, you know, and I think Paul Gosselaar was in there too.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, it was Mark Paul. Oh God, it took me back. Oh, Mark Paul Gosselaar and Saved by the Bell. But
I was an AC Slater.
I agree with you. It's just it's infuriating.
But like, and also I really don't mind the Easter egg stuff like that, because it really isn't. You don't have to, like, you all mentioned there was a Kingo banner. I fucking missed that. And like, that's okay. You know what I mean? It's not like, you're not going to like totally miss the movie or miss the point of the thing if you don't.
But how much time did James Gunn spend saying, these are the funny things I'm going to put in it, rather than saying like, I'm going to write something that's good. Like he said, I'm going to do a bunch of Easter eggs, a bunch of jokes, a bunch of overdone bits, rather than actually writing something. And I'll just say Mantis is his brother. And then that'll be out of the way. No one, even though that's the most important part. And like, I got teary eyed at the end too, genuinely. Like, I think she sells that scene at the end when she's telling him that so well. And like, but that is not what this plot is about at all. It's just a sentence at the beginning and a sentence at the end. And we're done. Yeah. And the rest is just fucking bits and Kevin Bacon doing British accents and saying he's Batman.
Hammy the Grinch. Jeez.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm so sorry. No, stop. Don't talk to me anymore. I'm done.
No. But wait, Hammy, though, in fairness to you, here's the thing, though. Like, I want to defend this in a smart way.
Please.
I don't disagree with you. I really do not disagree with you. I think, though, Bob Iger created Disney Plus and they realized they needed more content. And from my understanding, Marvel was instructed they have to turn out stuff. So I'm pretty sure they're throwing everything and stuff that's like half baked into Disney Plus just so they have content. And unfortunately, you get situations like this, which I liked it, but I wasn't expecting much going into this. The one thing that I think makes me feel very unfulfilled with this holiday special is that I don't think it really truly did set up the Guardians, especially since they dropped Guardians 3, especially since they dropped the teaser for Guardians 3 this last week. And there is no common denominator between the holiday special and the trailer. Like, none of those plots are there. And I agree with you. I think that it was probably a little half baked.
But it was fun. I know I'm going to end up watching it next Christmas too. It's no Hawkeye. Don't get me wrong. I'm going to watch Hawkeye every year for the rest of my life.
I love Hawkeye so much.
I'm so glad there's a safe space where we can all, because people hate on Hawkeye and it is one of the best ones.
No, it's fantastic.
Elena and Kate Bishop, what is to hate?
Right. Ugh. A thing that did make me misty-eyed, and it's because I love him so much, when she saw the guy dressed as Captain America, and she's like, oh, it's Steve! And she like runs over to him and he runs away. I was like, wait, that's cute. Like, she was excited to see him, and she like didn't realize it was just like some guy in a costume. I thought that was like very fucking cute.
I thought so cute. I thought it was really cute too. Although Captain Marvel is far more popular in the MCU than she is in the real world, because I've never seen someone as Captain Marvel on the Hollywood Boulevard, sadly.
I thought it was a really clever thing to do that I had never seen done before, to have them go to in front of the Hollywood theater or... No, I'm kidding. They already did that in Hawkeye. It's been done, James Gunn. It's not funny anymore.
They weren't in front of the...
No, they were in Times Square.
Yeah, thank you.
Like, oh, God. Okay.
This is dark Hammy on the podcast. I love it. We're usually so cheerful.
I know.
hottest Marvel Legends that I haven't pubbed yet, like 6 months ago, and I've been editing it. And you are so happy in it. You're so nice. And here you are. So, what has your father been teaching you?
Can I tell you the honest truth? I
And
genuinely,
my little boy.
I love Guardians so much, and like the Guardians 3 trailer was incredible. Like it was just so good, and I love this team so much, and I've had so much like vitriol towards Pratt recently. I don't know why. And so like I don't know what it was about this. Like I don't know if my expectations were just too high because I'm coming off Suicide Squad with James Gunn, which was so good. I'm coming off the news that he's going to take over DC, which I'm so excited about. And I love Christmas, and I'm like, oh boy, strap in for fucking the best thing you're ever going to watch. And I was like, they fucking half-assed it. Like this thing you've been so excited for is the thing that like everyone toned it down for and just needed to pop out content. And I think that's why I'm upset is like, I just wanted too much. And I recognize that in myself because
and you're right though. This has been hyped for a long time. This is years at this point because it definitely got put on hold because of the pandemic. You know what? Sidebar, I'm not that excited for James Gunn taking over DC.
Okay, fair.
I like James Gunn quite a bit. I do like James Gunn quite a bit, but I don't know. Black Adam was, I don't know.
But he didn't do that movie.
I know he didn't do that movie, but I'm just thinking like what I'm trying to say is that I don't think like the DC EU needs new direction. It needs like just fresh reboot from scratch. And I think that's what probably Flashpoint is supposed to do, but that's still not his movie. And I don't know. I don't know. Let's see where they go with this, with Guardians 3. There was a lot of hate online for the Guardians 3, especially Will Poulter.
I thought he looked great. I was like, I can't wait to thirst after him.
I was like, whap, right there. I was like, you look great. I'm here for it.
And like Adam Warlock was a big part of like, for us nerds of a certain age, like the comics we read, like him and Thanos were like the center of all those crossovers in Marvel Universe.
Yeah.
So like
Infinity Watch. This is great.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes. Infinity Crusade is like the one that I remember reading. Like I was so excited to go. Like, I think I bought those at like the pharmacy that was like across the street from where we lived.
Oh.
And I would like always look for the new issue of Infinity Crusade. And that's like one of the worst ones, but like, I was just like, just old enough to like actually fully, I don't know, like, I don't know that understand, but like, you know what I mean? Like fully like read them and like get what was going on.
Yeah, no, it was, so for everyone at home, Infinity Gauntlet was the first part, which in the MCU is Infinity Wars. And then you had Infinity Crusade. And it was just this big 3-part story. And Adam Warlock plays a significant role in this. And I can only hope that's where they're going with having him come into the MCU.
But yeah, so all right, we'll wrap this up.
We'll wrap this up. Are you kidding me? We haven't talked about Kevin Bacon. There's so much more. I'm not going anywhere. I'm riled up. You boys got me real riled up. I can't sleep tonight. It's almost 10 p.m. here, but there's no way I'm going to bed now.
Kevin Bacon.
Almost 10 p.m. as if that's like 3 o'clock in the morning.
I know. I'm sorry.
Anna.
I'm just a little baby. Oh my God.
So yes, let's talk about Kevin Bacon. Hammy, you can start. What do you think?
I was okay with it. I think there was too much of him, but I think the way that the other characters interacted with him were great. I think the chase scene was some of the best action that we've gotten in a while, honestly. Watching Mantis kick ass was great. Watching Drax fucking just wreck a bunch of cops was amazing. That. Yeah. Felt real good.
I actually did really like when she like hands them the fucking candy cane. She's like, here you go. Now we're even. And I was like, wait, I like this.
No, that whole candy, that was the one thing that like really hit with me was like anytime there was Christmas stuff, I did really like it. So like Drax being obsessed with the little man, the little weird man or whatever he kept calling it, I loved. And when he described the candy cane as her little man, and she was like, in what way does this look like a man? I fucking died. I was cackling. But yeah, Kevin Bacon was okay. It was a weird plot point for me. But you know what? We got some good comedic moments from it, so I'll take it.
Yeah, I thought it was really great. I mean, obviously he's referenced, in the franchise. He's a great warrior. So I loved it. I thought it was really funny. I wonder what they would have done if they couldn't get Kevin Bacon. Like, is there like an alternate script out there where they put someone else in there, like Alyssa Milano or someone else, or David Hasselhoff? You know what I mean?
I was wondering about that too, actually, Dayspring. I was like, I wonder if they were just like, who can we get that will do this and like have fun doing it? And they just like went through like a Rolodex of actors, right?
Exactly. Like people they mentioned and all that stuff. Because like realistically, if Kevin Bacon had a scheduling conflict, they need to have a contingency plan for it.
Right. Yes.
I'm sorry that he's not in the MCU in a proper way, because he was an awesome Sebastian Shaw in X-Men First Class. I mean, he really wasn't like a straight adaptation of the comic book, but for what it was in First Class, I thought he was great. Uh-oh. Hammy, go to your room. Your dads are going to fight right now.
Oh God.
There's no fighting. We revisited that movie for the podcast, like whatever summer I did, Summer of X-Men.
Oh, okay.
I really didn't like revisiting it. I remember everyone
just revisited it, and I was be like, "Thanks for the invite."
That was before we knew each other. And like, I remember when everyone was like, "Oh no, it's like the best X-Men movie," and being very excited to see it, and then seeing it and feeling like that was all right. When I revisited for the podcast, I was like, "This is fucking long and boring, and everyone's boring."
Okay, we're going to talk about this later. This is going to be a separate episode. You're going to come on Power of X-Men. We're going to make you watch freaking like First Class
again.
But it's not even a long movie.
It's like 2 full hours, and it feels like 5.
It's a long movie. It's shorter than the first X-Men. I think. Don't quote me on that.
Well, all right. Well, whatever. But I do think he's good. I like Stir of Echoes. That's a really good horror movie that he's in.
No, I don't. What's Stir of Echoes?
It's like they move into a neighborhood, they're being haunted by ghosts, but then the ghosts, it's like you're very typical. Like then the ghost is just trying to like tell them that the man that murdered her still lives on the block. And
wait, I'm getting this confused with Hollow Man, where he was like, do you remember that movie?
I do remember that movie.
That's what I'm getting confused here. I'm just Googling this right now. Oh my God, Elizabeth Shue was in that movie.
Yeah.
I love Elizabeth Shue.
But so I will say I agree with both of you. I do think there was times when it felt weird that we were spending so much time with Kevin Bacon, but like it was fun. Like in that scene, the scene in the ship when they're talking to him, that I will say, Hammy, I was like, this is going on a little long. Like when he's like doing the different accents and stuff. And I was like, all right, come on.
I do get a little antsy too whenever I have to watch Mantis enter someone's mind and make them not believe what they want.
It's like, not great, right?
Yeah, when she made the woman give her the map for free and then asked for all of her money, I was like, I feel kind of. I know it's a bit like it's a joke, but I was like, I feel kind of yucky that Mantis just stole a bunch of money from this woman by using her powers.
I've argued similar points in the past, Hammy, and people were always like, you're nitpicking and stuff like that. It's like, no, it's this poor innocent person just lost their money and could get in trouble for not having their
but it's fine because I love Mantis. So oops, I'm problematic.
Yeah, no, I was trying to think of how that would have looked with a different celebrity. And I liked that Kira Sedgwick really was the voice of Kira Sedgwick in that.
Yeah.
Very weird.
Yeah.
But, but yeah, no, I did like the Kevin Bacon of it all. I was a little like, but wait, they're basing this off Peter Quill's stories. Peter Quill, I was like, does he not know that Kevin Bacon's an actor? No, he does, but then he would have told the story like that. Like, he wouldn't have said, like, he would have said the character's name, right?
Well, yes, but also, here's the thing. They would know that Kevin Bacon isn't the world's greatest hero because he wasn't there in the fight against Thanos. You know what I mean? Like, Like, that's a little flawed logic there, like when you start scratching the surface a lot there.
I can't believe you're both about to make me stick up for this fucking episode.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. I was about to say, Hammy, now you have me hating on this.
I know. I felt the literally exact opposite. I was like, I think Peter Quill, like, was always lying to everyone to make these Earth people seem like they were so much more than they were.
Cooler.
Like, I don't think Peter Quill really believed that Kevin Bacon was, like, this hero. And the whole bit of Drax and Mantis is they just don't understand Earth or get anything.
Right.
So I can totally I buy it, them being like, oh my god, this is like the greatest hero of Earth.
No, he wasn't there with Thanos, though.
There was a lot of people there with Thanos. Do you think Mantis knows every name of everyone who was there? No. He could have been there.
Mantis never interacted with Steve, though, and she knew it was Steve.
Well, Steve has a fat ass and a great suit, okay?
Very good counterpoint.
Kevin Bacon's ass looked great in this, too.
He was looking good, I'll be honest.
I thought he was hot here, and the only other time I thought he was really hot was when he guest starred on Will and Grace. He was so hot when him and Will were dancing. Like, teenage Paul was, like, all flustered.
He does. He has... Sometimes he does it for me, sometimes he doesn't. He did do it for me in this. He has, like, a face that looks like he'll be mean to you, and, like, depending on my mood, sometimes that's hot, sometimes...
Oh, dear Lord. Separate... Save it for Nudie Judy, buddy. Save it for Nudie Judy.
We will dismantle that later, Hammy.
Oh, my God. We need to have a talk.
I'm a problem. What was the other thing you wanted to bring up, Hammy?
Who, me? Nothing.
Yeah.
All good stuff. Of course.
Oh my God.
I have two more I want to bring up, too. No.
You go, Dayspring. I'm just having a great time with you boys tonight. I don't want it to end, so...
No.
Okay, one thing I thought was really kind of like too on the nose for me was Nebula's gift to Rocket, which we have to talk about, which was Bucky's arm. I thought that was too on the nose. Like, I thought it was cute, when they were together in Infinity War, and you're like, I want that arm. I'm going to get that arm. But, like, to actually, like, execute, I don't know. It seemed a little too packaged. Does that make sense?
I liked it.
No, it's fine as a callback. I get it, but it was such a meme. I don't know. I'm fine with it. I'm not fine with it. I don't know.
I'm fine with it. I'm not fine with it.
I'm trying to be a good guest here and not arguing for her child.
Low-key, Nebula gets a lot of hate, but she was actually my favorite part of this. I don't know what it was about. When she was dancing, I fucking cackled. Yes. When she was like, you can't outrun me, Bacon, I fucking died. Like, I was just so... I don't know why I was so enthralled by her, but I was just obsessed. So the arm landed with me, but not because it made a good plot point, more just because I was in the thrall of Nebula at the point.
Nebula... So my, like, hot take on Guardians of the Galaxy is... In the first movie, I don't think Nebula is that good.
Correct.
But then in the second movie, she is very good.
Correct.
And then in Endgame, she is very good. And, like, I don't quite know how, like, I couldn't really pinpoint the difference. But I love her now, and I didn't used to. And Hammy, I noticed that dancing, and I was like, wait, I fucking love that. I love when, like, actors can just, like, do a weird little dance that makes sense for the character. And it did make sense that she was, like, kind of angry dancing, but also, like, just moving her hips and her shoulders. Like,
oh, it killed me. It literally killed me.
And I liked the arm only because that felt like a comic book thing. I will say, Dayspring. That's like, I was like, where'd she get that? But I was like, also,
I wish they would have shown it. I wish that we would have just gotten like a short or like, like Family Guy style. Like, how did you get it? And it just cuts there and you just see Sebastian Stan's arm like coming off. But listen, I love Nebula. Endgame, the opening scene with her and Tony, and then when they land on Earth and her and Rocket look at each other and they know they're the only two left and they hold hands. I cried.
I can remember being like, oh my God, wait. Because by the second movie, I did, like I said, in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, I did really like her, but I was like, I never thought this character would make me feel emotional. But yeah, it's like they know all their friends are dead and they're the only ones left of their like team, and it's like, ugh, my babies.
Yeah, I mean that's where like I didn't care that like some Avengers died, you know what I mean? Because you didn't see that heart that they had in Guardians, and you understood that this was a gang of misfits that came together and found a tribe, and now they've been decimated. And oh, it was so beautiful, so beautiful.
And not to revisit that, but I do think Endgame, the smart thing they did was like very much focusing on the people that were like close, like. The fact that Bucky was the first one to disappear and it was in front of Steve, like, we know that there's you know what I mean? Like, those are two, I mean, I guess Bucky's not really an Avenger, but like, whatever. Of the hero, like, we know those two characters have such a strong bond. So seeing him just be like, Steve, and then like, fully burst into a cloud of dust, it was like, fuck. And like, I don't know, man, that, I will say, like, that, that's like, I cried so hard. I saw that movie with my mom. That she was like, "Are you okay? You're crying a lot."
I mean, the Wanda and Vision scene. I mean, that was gorgeous.
And like, even with that, like, we hadn't really built them up much, but like, you know, us like comic fags, we know who they are, and it's like, no.
It doesn't even matter. That line he says, like, "You could never hurt me. All I'm gonna feel is you." Like, oh my god, gorgeous.
But yeah, no, I don't know what is different about Nebula, but they've like made her more like I like her little harshness. I like that she is part of the family, but she also still will be annoyed with them, you know? Like I really like that. And I will say even Peter Quill, and I don't ever want to compliment what's his face.
Chris Pratt. I'm not a fan of Chris Pratt in today's world, but back when Guardians came out in 2014, I was so in love with him.
Yes.
His transformation from Parks and Rec to MCU star and in Jurassic Park. Oh my God, I was in love with him.
I do think his acting I feel like his acting wasn't that strong in the first one. And I feel like when he's like freaking out about finding out his dad murdered his mom, like that was actually emotional and he sold it. And I was like, oh, did they give him acting classes? Like, what happened? Like, he got better.
That is 100%. Oh my God, Ian. That is exactly how I feel. I feel like Guardians 1, he was like straight out of Parks and Rec. It was like these funny quips, like he couldn't really act. And then 2, he gets good. And then even in this like special, the one scene that he's like in where he's walking up to his present and it starts shaking and you can see his face turn to realize there's a human being in it. It's like that could be an acting class. And then even like skipping ahead to something we're not talking about, but him in the trailer for Guardians 3, I was like, fuck, this boy took some acting lessons. Like he's really giving it now. If only he had voice acting lessons.
I know, for Mario, I was about to say that.
Wait, did you boys see that fucking meme that's going around? I think it might be a TikTok. It's like a little video where it's like the clip of Chris Pratt joking. It's like he did a video where he like talks in his regular voice and says, "Hi, it's me, Mario. Just kidding. I'm not going to do my regular voice when I do Mario." And then it freeze frames and there's just text that says, "The fuck you didn't change your voice."
My God.
What? The actual trailer, with the exception of the voice acting, looked so good.
Incredible.
As a diehard Mario fan, I was so happy. And that scene of Peach hitting the flower.
Yes.
Oh my God, she looks so great. And I even like Anya Taylor-Joy's voice for her.
And I think what's his face from It's Always Sunny, like him doing his regular voice matches. Like
Luigi, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, like it works for Luigi. Does not work for Mario, but it weirdly does work for Luigi, right? But anyway, now we've gotten very off subject.
Yeah, my apologies.
Wait, but on the subject of Chris Pratt and Star-Lord, the animated shorts with Yondu that was incorporated here, I thought very touching, a little too on the nose. And I don't think I needed to know how he got his guns, right? It was the origin. It's been a couple of days since
I forgot about that. That's another I'm not complaining. No, go ahead, Ian. Say a nice thing. Say a nice thing. It's the Christmas holiday. You thought it was cute.
I do agree. We don't need it, but like, I don't know. I guess like that could be said for this whole thing is like, we didn't need it, but I thought it was cute is how I feel in general about this holiday special.
As you were crying like 20 minutes ago.
Seriously. And like, they leaned into the like holiday special of it all. Right. And like, you know, James Gunn said that like his like idea came from like the Star Wars holiday special that like was like the big, like, you know, the fans couldn't get it anywhere because they didn't put it anywhere because it was so bad. And I don't think I've ever seen it. But yeah, I don't know. A lot of it, like the I liked that I know you, the top, you said you didn't, Hammy, but I liked that the animation was like that old style Christmas animation.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't think we needed it, but I didn't bother me. I thought it was cute. I will say when we turned it on, my dad went, "Oh, is this animated? I don't want to watch a cartoon." And I was like, no. I think it's just a part of
I said
it.
the same thing.
And like, only because I had seen the trailer, I was like, no, this is probably just an intro. Like,
The only thing I want to say, though, like, to be a contrarian here, is even though we're saying like it's cute, but I didn't need it. I'm gonna say the baby Groot shorts that were put out a couple months ago. Did you guys see those?
I forgot they existed till we turned this on, and I was like, oh, those baby Groot shorts. I should watch those.
Those are literally cute, and we definitely don't need. You know what I mean? Like,
I agree.
it's like I liked it. Here are my feels with it. I liked it. I think it's not a remedy to what's going on with the MCU right now. I think the MCU is very wayward. And now talking to Dark Hammy, I'm like, yeah, you're right. This did suck. This was the worst thing ever.
No.
You know? Like, so that's sort of where I'm landing with this feelings. I think, though, like the fact that not many people have DM Power of X-Men about it, the fact that it premiered and no one really spoke about it, it was kind of like Werewolf by Night, where.
But I fucking love Werewolf by Night.
Right. But it did not. But it did not gain the popularity it was supposed to, or at least that you had hoped it would have gotten.
It just didn't permeate the way that I think they were expecting it to.
Well, and I think they didn't. I would say with Werewolf by Night, they didn't promo that much. Like, I feel like I didn't see much promo for either of these.
That is very fair. What is up with their marketing budget though? Like, they're not like marketing anything anymore. Like, I don't even like, even though Wakanda Forever had great placements, I don't think I saw a lot of actual ads for the movie.
Yeah, I feel like Thor I saw the most.
Yeah, I will agree on Thor and Multiverse of Madness.
Yes. But like, I hope they do more. Like, Werewolf by Night I feel like we can all agree maybe that it was a superior holiday special.
I loved it.
Like, I fucking loved it. And I like the thing that I think worked really well for, I mean, clearly doesn't matter because like you said, not a lot of people were talking about it anyway. But the thing that I thought worked really well for Werewolf by Night is that, yes, it's still in this universe, but like it's completely new and separate. And it made it feel like so fresh.
Mm-hmm.
And like, you know, the fact that it was all these hunters and like, you know, not most of them were made up except for like Elsa and Jack Russell. But like, it worked because you didn't know like who was going to die and who was going to like be an ally and all that shit. And like, I don't know, it was just fun. And that's also like an hour, right? I don't think it's that long.
Yeah, it's really short too. I forgot the minutes, but yeah.
Yeah, so like I would love if they did more holiday specials like this. I don't know. I want them to do Halloween and holiday one like every year.
I'm down.
100%.
I thought Dark Hammy would be like, no more.
No. Oh my god.
Canceling fun for the rest of the day.
This is going to be your worst like listened to podcast because everyone's going to be like, I literally can't listen to this bitch complain anymore. I'm turning this off. You're going to get so many DMs that are like, I wanted to listen. You made some really great points. You and Dayspring were so amazing. But that cunt you brought on was just way too much.
I know. Are you kidding me? I feel like I always get like nice DMs when it's the three of us saying that we have good chemistry because we do.
Not this time, baby.
God. I'm scared and turned on.
Just the way I like it.
You see the way he talks to his stepfather, Dayspring? How did you raise him?
God. Oh my god.
Yo, why are you saying I gave birth to him? Oh, well, because I'm right. Sorry.
That is true though.
Anyway, is there anything else we want to? I feel like we've covered the whole thing.
We've done it all. Can we
do just only thing to mention? They did not have Gamora in it. I was shocked by that. I thought they were going to have her at one point.
Well, I do feel like that'll be a plot point in 3, like her coming back to them or them finding her or some shit.
One of the Easter egg videos I watched pointed out specifically that when Mantis mentions Gamora, she's not on screen, so it was probably an ADR thing because they didn't know what was going to be happening or if she would be around or what like role she would play. So I think having filmed it during 3 and not really knowing what was going on with the rest of the universe, they probably just were like, nah. It's better not to put her in it at all because we have no idea what.
I don't even. What the hell did she mention her? I don't even remember that.
She just says Peter really misses Gamora ever since she left. But they just show Drax's face while she's saying it, so it's very likely that she didn't actually act that line out, and they just added it after.
Yeah, that's fair.
Can we do final thoughts? Because I would like to end on positives, but I would also like you guys to go first so I can think of some positive things to say.
We always end on final thoughts here.
Oh, thank God. Yes,
Slayerfest
I know
98,
that.
Hammy.
I know that. I listen.
Final thoughts. Favorite scene, Dayspring?
I'm gonna say the Kevin Bacon chase, which I think Hammy and you had already covered. I thought that was really great. Final thoughts, I think I already said them. I went in really excited for it, enjoyed it. Now I hate it because of Hammy.
That's so rude.
Hammy that stole Christmas. But I think if you go in, you turn off your brain and you're just expecting like a fun Disney Plus, holiday content, it's fine. It's great. It's not going to shake anything up. But if you start thinking about it a little too much, there's a lot of cracks in the foundation.
Okay. And I'll go next, Hammy, to give you some more time.
Thank you.
I think my favorite scene is them at the gay bar. Like a thing with me is I'm a sucker for if I like the thing, I really want to watch those characters get drunk or high together. Like I like watching the characters just like get a moment to like fuck around and like get stoned or high and like have fun. So I liked that they were like doing shots and I liked that the gay guys hit on fucking Drax. Like I feel like they very purposely didn't explicitly say it was a gay bar because it's Disney, but like it was, right?
There was a rainbow flag outside of it. When they walk in, there's like a pride flag like posted outside. Like that was the first thing I noticed. I was like, oh shit, they put a pride flag in. And then they walk in and I was like, oh, I see. Right. I see. I
had to tell my parents. I was like, oh, they're at a gay bar. And my mom was like, oh, I love that. But like my parents did not pick up on that. But yeah, I think that is my favorite part because Parks and Rec, my favorite episode is the episode where they all get drunk on snake juice. Like I just love that shit. Hammy, what was your favorite scene?
I probably the chase scene with Kevin Bacon as well, just because I think there was so much Christmassiness to it, like all the decorations, all the lights. I felt like it was Christmas. I think Mantis and Drax, that was like the highlight of them being together.
Yeah.
It just Mantis really shined during that scene. And I just like, she crushed it. And I think I laughed a lot during that scene too. And yeah, that was probably my favorite scene. But like my overall opinions are like, I will keep watching it. Like I think I goofed myself by setting my expectations too high. And like listening to my dad's talk about it kind of helps me see like, there is a little bit of something special in there. And like, I did like the animation at the beginning. Like I thought it was cute and it was a nice throwback. And like,
it felt very Beavis and Butthead kind of animation, that gritty-ish animation.
Yeah. And like, there's just so many Christmas specials and like old animation that was like that. And like, I just, so many other feelings too.
What grade do we give it, Hammy?
I would say like a B-.
All right. Dayspring?
B+.
Yeah, I think I give it a B+ as well. Thank you boys both for joining me. This was lovely to have both of you. I love so I want everyone to know I named our group DM Sunnydale Throuple because everything being Buffy. Thank you all for listening. If you like Slayerfest 98, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and anywhere else you get your podcasts. You can subscribe to us on Patreon, where you can listen to all our bonus episodes and all our My Nudie Judy videos, which sometimes Hammy does with me. And if you want to follow us on social, we are at SlayerFestX98. If you want to follow me, I am at IanXCarlos. Hammy, where can everyone find you?
Everyone can find me at Hammy73 for the thirst traps or michael.ham.cosplay for cosplay. And I wouldn't recommend Twitter, so...
And Dayspring, where can everyone find you?
you guys can hit me up at Power of X-Men on Instagram. That is really the only social media outlet we use for the podcast. And you can get the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. We are also experimenting with some YouTube content, so please check us out there. We do have book club coming up on December 18th. And we are reading Anne Nesenti's and Art Adams' A Long Shot series from the 80s. It's 6 issues. It's so much fun. We had Anne on the podcast. It's absolutely incredible. And we have another guest coming on Tuesday that I'm so excited about. And it's the producer for the Mutant Academy video game from the early 2000s.
What a throwback. Oh my God.
Yeah.
The polygons of that video game.
This guy was like, how did you find me? And I will tell you how I did afterwards once we're done.
Oh my God.
All right, boys. Well, thank you both for joining me, and we'll see you all next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.